Okay, on the menu today, we have barbecued. We're going to have pork barbecued ribs, with baby potatoes, baby roast potatoes, and side salad. So here we have our pork ribs, we have our mustard, we have our pepper, we have our stock cubes, and we have our salt, we have our chives, we have our olive oil, we have our tomato puree, we have our tomato ketchup, we have some honey, and we have some chili sauce, okay, and then we have our spinach leaves, our potatoes, our scallions, tomatoes, and garlic, and an onion. Okay, so the ingredients for the barbecue sauce is going to be tomato ketchup, tomato puree, garlic, onion, mustard, some chili sauce, and some tomato puree. Okay, and some honey as well. We have some honey here as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we're going to get cracking on the preparation for our barbecued spare ribs. Okay, so what we have here, we have our onions peeled, and we have our garlic peeled. Our onions and garlic are going to go into the sauce. Okay, we have our spinach leaves prepared. We have our scallions, our cucumber, and our tomato. So our spinach, our scallions, our cucumber, and our tomato is going to go into the salad, and our onions and garlic is going to go into our sauce. Okay, so we also have our potatoes prepped up as well. So what we're going to do with our potatoes is, we're going to add a dribble of olive oil, salt and pepper, and we're going to place our potatoes in the oven. Okay, in the meantime, we have some water on here for our ribs. Okay, we're going to seal off the ribs in some boiling water, and we have some stock. We're going to start making some stock here for our barbecue sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the 2 stock cubes into the pot here, into the boiling water, and then I'm going to put the stock on for simmer. Okay, so we just let that the stock cubes dissolve in the water. Okay, we just lower it down. So our stock is going to be for our sauce. So we have our water here boiling. Okay, we're just going to bring it up to the boil, and as soon as that boils, then we're going to put our pork ribs into the pot. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to prep up. I'm going to chop the onions, crush the garlic, and make the salad out of the tomatoes, the spinach, the spring onions, scallions, and cucumber. So as you can see here, we have our onions chopped up for our sauce. We have our garlic crushed for our sauce and for potatoes. And we have our salad mix. Our tomatoes are cut into quarters. Our cucumber is diced, and our scallions are finely chopped. We have our spinach leaves here, and we have our potatoes. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do is, we have our ribs here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the ribs into a pot of boiling water for about 10 to 15 minutes, just to seal the ribs, to seal the flavour into the ribs. Because if we fry the ribs or seal them off, what will happen is the ribs become very, very tough, right? So the best way to do for to have nice, succulent, tender ribs is to place the ribs into a pot of boiling water, and just to seal them off for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we have the ribs here. Okay, so I'm just going to place them into the boiling water. Okay, there we go. So our ribs are in there now. Okay, so we're going to let them cook and seal them off for about 10 to 15 minutes in the water. okay, in the boiling water. Okay, we're just going to turn it down and place it on simmer. In the meantime, I'm just going to wash my hands and I'm going to get back to prepping up the salad. So in the meantime, what I've done is I'm just going to put some oil on our potatoes. Okay, sprinkle of olive oil. We're going to put some salt and we're going to put some black pepper. Okay, we have our garlic here, and what we're going to do is we're going to stir the potatoes, the garlic and the oil. Okay, give them a good stir. Okay, so then some baby potatoes are ready now for the oven. Okay, so we can see now our pork ribs are sealing off there in the boiling water, and what we're going to do is now we're going to put together the salad. We're going to mix together the salad. Okay, mixed our salad together. We have our spinach, our tomatoes. We shredded our spinach. We have our tomatoes cut in four. We have our diced cucumber, and we have our scallions. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a nice honey and mustard dressing, okay, for the salad. So we have some olive oil. We're just going to add in some olive oil. Okay, we're going to add in some apple cider vinegar, just a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to add in a teaspoon of French mustard. Okay, just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in some honey. Okay, so this is going to make the dressing for the salad. Okay, so there's going to be a kind of a sweet and sour taste of the salad as well. We're just going to give it a bit of a whisk here. So we have our olive oil in here. Okay, we also have our French mustard, whole grain mustard. We have our apple cider vinegar, and we also have our honey. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper in, a bit of salt and some pepper. Okay, tiny bit of pepper. Okay, and what we're going to do is now just give another last little mix up. We're going to add the dressing now into our salad. Okay, so our salad is ready. Okay, as you can see, it was very simple to make. We're going to just mix all the ingredients through now, mix the dressing through. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to place the salad in the fridge to rest. So as you can see here, our ribs are after being on for the last 10 to 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is now the ribs are nicely sealed off, as you can see there. So what we're going to do is with the ribs, we're going to strain them off, and we're going to put them in the oven then to roast or to braise. Okay, so we have a heated tray in the oven. Okay, we're going to strain off the stock off the pork ribs, and then we're going to place the ribs into a hot oiled roasting dish. Okay, so there's our ribs, as you can see them there. They look, they're cooked, they're well sealed, and we don't overdo it in the pot. Okay, so the ribs are being on for the last 10 to about 15 minutes in the pot. Okay, simmering away. There you go. There's our nice hot roasting tray now. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stick the fork into the ribs, and we're just going to place the ribs into the roasting dish. Okay, just cook a little bit of, mix them up with a little bit of oil there. Okay, just put it to one side there. Okay, just give them a nice coating of oil there. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we're just going to put a little dribble of honey on the ribs. Okay, so we have some honey here, so we're just going to put a tiny bit of honey on the ribs. Okay. So what we're going to do is now we're going to put the ribs in the oven. We'll just put some salt, and we just put some black pepper also on the ribs. Okay, so the ribs are ready now to go into the oven. So the idea is to brown the ribs off, right? Is to colour them. Okay. We have our potatoes in here as well. As you can see, they're cooking off nicely as well. Our garlic and roast potatoes. So we're just going to let brown off our ribs. We have the cooker preheated just below 200. Okay, so we're going to brown off our ribs. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for our ribs to cook, we're going to put together our barbecue sauce. So, we just have our pot on. We're heating up our pots, okay, with our olive oil. Put a little dribble of olive oil in the pot, okay. And what we're going to do is now we're going to saute our garlic and our onions, okay. We're just going to lower down the heat and we're going to start putting our barbecue sauce together. Okay, so we're just going to saute off our garlic and our onions. Okay, what we're going to do is with our garlic and onions, we're going to add some apple cider vinegar just into the pot just like so. Okay, just a dribble, about a teaspoon. Okay, we're just going to let that cook away. Okay, you can smell the flavours now of the garlic, the apple cider vinegar, and the onions. Okay, so the next step is we're going to put in some tomato puree. So we're going to put in the barbecue sauce is a tomato based sauce. Okay, so we have our tomato sauce, our tomato ketchup, our tomato puree. So we have our tomato puree. Okay, so what we're going to add in next is we have our tomato ketchup. So we're just going to add in a good dollop of tomato ketchup. Okay, so you can see now things are starting to come together. So the main thing is for to keep the gas underneath the pot on low, because we don't want anything to burn. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add a sprinkle of the chili sauce, just a sprinkle, because we don't want it too hot. Okay. Okay. The next thing that we're going to add to the sauce is a spoonful of mustard. Okay. So we're just going to add in a spoonful of mustard. Okay. So just keep mixing. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to add in about a tablespoon of honey. Okay, so there you can see the mixture of you know, the bitter vinegar and the mixture of the sweet honey and the tomato puree and the tomato ketchup. Okay, so we're just going to let that mix cook out slightly. Okay, we just let that cook out slightly. In the meantime, we have our stock here, our chicken stock. It's just here. We're just bringing it back to the boil. So we're just going to let that simmer, just for a little bit. Okay. All right. So what we've done is we've just switched now to a whisk. Okay. So we have a tablespoon full of flour. We're just going to add that in because that's going to be the thickening. So we're going to make it up like a paste. Okay. So with a good whisk. Okay. It's very important that we don't let anything burn. Okay. That, you know, the paste doesn't burn, because you can't get rid of the taste of burn of a sauce or of anything that you're cooking. All right. So there you can see we're forming a lovely paste. So this is our lovely barbecue paste. Okay. So we have our stock now. So we're just going to add in some of our stock. Okay. Just give it a whisk. Okay. Barbecue sauce is starting to come together now. Alright. And then we have that whisk, we just add the rest of our stock. Okay. So it's very important that you continuously stir the sauce to make sure that everything is blended through and that nothing sticks. Okay, so there you can see our barbecue sauce is going to come to the boil. It comes to the boil. We're going to let it cook out for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to pour it onto our ribs now. Okay, so we're just going to let our sauce cook out. We can just have a look here at our sauce. We have our sauce and we're just reducing it down just to capture all the flavours, and we're just letting it cook out and thicken up as well. So we have a lovely barbecue sauce coming along nicely. Okay, so our sauce is nearly ready to go onto our ribs. So we're going to check up on our ribs now and our potatoes. So you can see here our ribs are coming along nicely. And they're browning away and they're looking really well. So our ribs are nearly ready for our barbecue sauce. Okay, we have our potatoes are nearly ready as well. Our baked roasted garlic potatoes are nearly ready. Okay, so everything is starting to come along nicely. There you go, there's our ribs and they're lovely, they're roasted there. Okay, so the next step for the ribs is to do is we're going to cut in between the bone, okay, and we're going to cut them on the chopping board, okay, and then we're going to cover them with barbecue sauce. So you can see here our barbecue sauce is ready. Okay, so the next thing to do is now is to just cut up the ribs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut in between the bone there on the rib. Okay, we're separate. You can see the lovely separate you know, cut in between the bone and the meat. Okay, so that's one rib cut up. So we just place that to one side. Okay, again, just be careful when you're doing it. Okay, so there we go. We're just cutting in between the bone on the rib. Okay, you can see the lovely succulent meat there, and we're trying to keep all that. Okay, so we're just cutting in between the bones. Okay, so there we go. Our ribs are all cut up and ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to put them back into the tray. Okay, and then we're going to cover them and cover the ribs with the barbecue sauce. Okay. So there we go, the ribs are back in the tray. Okay, so the next thing to do is to add the barbecue sauce. Just to pour barbecue sauce over the ribs. Okay, we just give them a good stir. Make sure that they're well covered in the barbecue sauce. And then what we're going to do is then we're going to place the ribs back into the oven for another 10 minutes. Okay, just to finish off. So there we go, our ribs are back in the oven and we're just going to cook them out for another 10 minutes, okay? Let the barbecue sauce go through them and coat the ribs. Okay, our potatoes are ready. We're going to take our potatoes out now, okay? Just to let them set or just let them rest. So we're nearly ready now, another 10 minutes and we're ready to go with this meal to start plating it up. So there's all our hard work. Our ribs are ready for service. You can see them there. They're lovely and juicy. Lovely colour, lovely barbecue sauce. Our side salad is ready for service. And we also have our lovely potatoes. So what we're going to do is now we're going to start putting the dish together. Alright, so we're just going to put the side salad just to the side of the plate. Okay, so we have the lovely colours in there. We have the scallions, the spinach, the cucumber and the cherry tomatoes. Okay, so then we have our ribs. We're just going to stack our ribs just like so in the middle of the plate just to make it look good. Okay, so you'd probably want to give about 4 to 5 ribs per portion. Just put another tiny little bit of sauce in there over the ribs. Okay, and then we have our potatoes. Okay, so we're just going to put our potatoes to the side. Probably about 4 baby potatoes. Okay. Okay, so there we have our potatoes, and we also done some garlic bread as well. So we're just going to put some garlic bread in here just to the side. So there we go. There's our lovely barbecued ribs, pork ribs. We have our side salad, and we have our baby potatoes. Okay, so you're talking for 4 portions, you're probably talking about €20 for all the items or ingredients that have gone into the barbecued spare rib meal. You know, you're talking about an hour from prepping right up until all the items are cooked. Okay, so there we go, a lovely barbecued spare ribs with baby garlic roast potatoes, side salad, and some garlic bread. So again, just to recap, we have our barbecued spare ribs, we have our baby roast garlic potatoes, and we have our side salad. So we're all ready now for service. So please have a go and enjoy. As I say, you get great pleasure out of making your own meals, and especially when they work out well, like they did today. Okay, so thank you.